How should students have a voice at Western Sydney Uni? The Vice-Chancellor has said, we want to hear your views around this. They're committing to implement what you recommend to the maximum extent possible. How should students have a voice? That's what you've been mandated with.
When we have looked at student voice as a problem, generally the voices that we get in the room are former or existing student representatives or staff. I think what's different about this process, obviously we've got students that have never been involved in any of this sort of stuff before.
A citizens jury is the only time that we have 21 plus people all writing one report. We have 4 whole sessions that we're coming together, and they go through a whole process of diverging and converging. So they look at all different information, data, they hear from speakers, they critically think about it and interrogate it, and then they all come together and disagree and agree until finally they arrive at their recommendations.
This students panel took 32 students who are randomly chosen from 6,000 invitations that went out to students across the Western Sydney University. The students that were chosen were stratified so that they matched the demographics of the whole university.
You can see there's a mix in the room, right? So we don't just have some people from the uni, we've got a bit of everything from the uni.
As a mature-age student, I felt privileged to be included in this process that's going to benefit many younger students and generations to come.
Processes like these, although seem weighty and are normally out of our hands,
I think it's like super considerate of them to really want to know what their students want.
I think that they bring a unique lens to this particular problem without sort of any of the self-interest or politics that might be generally experienced when you're dealing with student representatives sort of grappling with this particular problem.
Especially coming out of COVID, I think a lot of students have kind of lost their ability to actually voice their concerns because, apathy is a bit high, but I think this is a real boost for students.
It's going to take a while. It's going to take multiple tries.
It's going to be a bit of a, like a good struggle through, right? Because you're going to find that there's lots of information we're going to take on.
So at the end of this process, they're all going to end up with a series of recommendations.
We got the recommendations by just listening to everyone. Not only are people that are already in the group, but also people that aren't in our group. Their thoughts are now implemented.
And the fact that it has the backing of the university and the Vice-Chancellor.
It just shows that they honestly care about us and our time that we've spent here.
Your report that you write is going to go directly to him. We're not going to touch it.
That does demonstrate to the degree that the university is actually listening.
I think we went into this without a preconceived idea of the outcome, and that's, I think, a good thing. I'm hoping that we get something out of the box that we haven't tried before. I think now is the time for us to try something different.
And we've come up with a few things that I think will be very useful going forward.
I'm very optimistic that it's been a worthwhile journey.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come along and receive the report. It is such an important topic, the student voice, and I'm glad this was chosen to test, in a sense, this particular citizens' assembly approach to decision making. We have this wonderful, rich, multicultural nature to our region, and that can sometimes be a little bit challenging to get people together. I'm looking forward to having an opportunity to read through this in detail and to come back to you if we can. I would be very keen to be able to feed back to you how we're going to attack each and every one of the recommendations. And I look forward to hearing your feedback after that if you'd like to. It'd be great. Thank you.
It's an opportunity to move forward, if only incrementally, at least forward a little bit.
I'm just glad that we have just kind of learnt through the whole process.
And that it's not just the random 32 of us.
Because it means that students have all been heard from.
I think it'll make life easier for the staff as well. It's definitely bridging that gap between students and staff.
I've been very surprised at the level of engagement with the students in this process. Not only in terms of the engagement, but in terms of some of the content and the solutions that they're thinking of. We're going to have something quite innovative as a result of this process at the end.